What's the next step after the US creates and unleashes ASI? Will the Americans form a world government? What is Russia, China, and India's next move? And why aren't these powers putting out all of their resources into AI if it's that much of a game changer? Or would it be best for us to just give up at this point? Okay, ASI, artificial superintelligence. Let me just remind everybody what these terms mean. What does AGI mean? What does ASI mean in the context of artificial intelligence? Now, everybody knows that there is something called artificial intelligence in the world. You have all these programs, what all these companies, Open AI, uh, Anthropic, and DeepSeek, and whatnot. The French have something called Mistral. So all these companies have produced AI systems, pretty powerful ones and very useful ones, and these are available at a charge, for a monthly charge to viewers, and you can use them for whatever purpose. Some are image generators, some can generate videos, some can generate music. Most of them are text based things that will output text based on whatever prompt you give them, and so on. You can see over the past couple of years how increasingly sophisticated these systems are becoming. So, what in the context of all this, what is AGI? What is artificial general intelligence? AGI is an AI system, artificially intelligent system, that has a human equivalent 130 IQ, which has the equivalent of a human with 130 IQ. So I think the average IQ in the world must be in the 90s. Uh, in some countries like Eastern Asia, etc., the average IQ is around 105, 110. I think if you have an IQ of 100, you are a reasonably well functioning human being. If you have IQ 120, you are pretty intelligent. 130 is very intelligent. I think 150 plus is genius level. So 130 is, if a person has IQ 130, that's a pretty intelligent person. Really, like elite level intelligence, maybe top 10% or something. I'm not sure exactly what, but that probably top 10%. So if an AI system has that sort of IQ, that's what we call AGI, artificial general intelligence. Obviously, that's not all it is. It has to be, it has to have human like characteristics and other things, but for the sake of oversimplifying things, let's call an AGI system a system with the same IQ as a 130 IQ human, same abilities as a 130 IQ human. What is ASI, artificial super intelligence? ASI is an AI system whose intelligence is equal to a human with 300 or 500 IQ. And such humans don't exist. That is superhuman intelligence. So an ASI system, artificially super intelligent system, is the natural progression of what happens after a system becomes AGI. It can start iteratively improving itself and becoming more and more intelligent and capable. And eventually you have ASI, artificial super intelligence. An ASI system will be able to develop and devise technologies and scientific breakthroughs that can only exist in the realm of science fiction or magic today. So once a country develops an ASI system, that country can very rapidly develop magic like technologies that will look like magic to you. Okay, they'll be able to have incredibly advanced propulsion systems. They'll be able to have aircraft that travel 20 times the speed of sound. They'll be able to colonize moon next week if they want. They'll be able to have people on Mars by next quarter. They'll be able to have nuclear fusion uh, in a glass, okay, on at room temperature. They'll these systems will devise technologies and substances you can't even imagine today, and such a nation will very rapidly put a huge gap between itself and everybody else. And if they play their cards right, they will be able to ensure that no other nation can ever catch up, and they will have the technologies to remotely prevent other nations from developing such technologies. So when you develop ASI, you don't unleash it, you keep it secret, but you unleash it in secret. So you will have UFO like technologies and everything you have seen in science fiction and magic. So that's what ASI is, and that's why AI is the biggest arms race right now. So the Chinese are very much in the race. Yes, their deep seek systems are supposed to be even probably better than most of the open AI systems and so on. And Claude, apparently at 3.7 or whatever, is exceptional, perhaps in coding and whatnot. So the US and China are neck to neck right now. The French are kind of in the fray with their Mistral system. And the Indian government has said that by the end of this year, we will have our own large language model. Wonderful. What are you going to do with it? Why do you want it? Do you want it just because everybody has one, so I also should have one? India has always had the attitude of doing something that people did 20 years ago. We should do it now. And in the AI world, 6 months is like 20 years, or 2 years is like 20 years. So I think India needs to really, really put a lot of effort into this. The Indian government has the resources has all the resources, the money and manpower and brilliant students and brilliant kids, everything we have. We just need focused effort and leadership. So India could catch up, in the next 2 years with these nations. We could. I'm not sure what Russia's deal is. Maybe they are doing things in secret. They have been denied technology by the US, chips, GPUs, and whatnot, even the Chinese. But the Chinese are making their own chips and they're making do with the chips that are not bleeding edge. Yeah, so if India starts becoming an AI power, we will also face sanctions like the Chinese are facing. Okay, don't worry, that will happen. But that shows that you arrive on the big stage. So it's gonna be, see, the AI race is gonna determine who rules the world for the next 1,000 years. It's that big of a deal. Most people don't see how big of a deal it is, but it is that big of a deal. Uh, and once a nation has ASI, they're gonna very rapidly, in a couple of months, put a huge gap between them and everybody else, and they'll be unbeatable. And they'll actively use their technological advances to deny any other nation from progressing. Now, when you have that sort of power, why would you want to form a one world government? Why not just take over the world? And look, to govern other nations takes a lot of effort. AI can do it, I'm sure, when you have ASI. But instead of having physical occupation of nations and all, you can just vassalize them and that sort of thing. But yeah, it will be some form of world government. So whichever nation develops ASI technology will be the ruler of the world for probably the next 1,000 years, if they are able to deny everybody else, uh, prevent other nations from gaining such technology, and then they will rule the world in some form or other. So it will be one nation that rules the whole world, which you can call a world government. So that's the big stakes. That's the huge race that's on right now. It's the 21st century version of the 20th century Cold War arms race, and the winner will be apparent in the next 2 3 years. Next 2 3 years, we'll know who's going to rule the world for the next 1,000 years.